Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the Dungeon Lore series. In this series, I hope to expand upon things you might not know about Final Fantasy XIV dungeons, as well as discuss their individual stories and lore. This episode's dungeon is Amdapor Keep. In the 5th Astral Era, the War of the Magi raged between the three major powers of Eorzea at the time, those being Mark, the Scholars of Nim, and the Amdapori. The war mainly consisted of increasingly dangerous magics developed by each nation, with the Mark delving into the void with the help of the sorcerer Shototo in the hopes to develop black magic, the Nimians using their scholarly knowledge to use grimoires and codexes to weave their magics, and the Amdapori, in response to the destructive power of the Machi's black magic, developing and inventing white magic within their own city. In the culmination of the war, the Amdapori battled more and more powerful voidsent summoned by Mark as they became more desperate to win the war, and the ones that were able to be defeated were then sealed within various Amdapor-ruled areas, including the great city of Amdapor itself. The end of the war resulted in an enormous flood that consumed the civilizations of the era, after which the elementals covered the Amdapori ruins in a glamour, as to protect the seals holding the voidsent within. However, one of the voidsent leaders, known as Diabolos, had fiends slowly weakened the seal over the 1500 or more years since the war, to the point of being very much escapable come the 7th Umbral era. In the current era, the glamour surrounding the Amdapori ruins has been dispelled, and not by someone unfamiliar to the Warrior of Light. The Lambs of Dalamud, a determined and reckless cult intent upon viewing the fallen Lesser Moon as a deity, return once more after their original invasion of the Tamtara Deepcroft. A similar goal is in mind for the cult, as they are attempting once more to penetrate into the ancient ruins and use various sacrificial rites and blood rituals to summon a yet more powerful voidsent into the world. Expert scholars once again find themselves investigating these long-forgotten ruins in an attempt to find a memento for the Tomberry Satoto's father, who once ventured to Amdapor to discover a cure for the disease plaguing the Nimians, the Green Death once again. We venture into the area with Alcazolka and Satoto, and after some investigating we are accosted by a large mana snatcher, after which the items in question are discovered. Experienced purveyors of jobs also delve into the keep, in order to find a rare Amdapor glyph for Rowena, curator of antiquities, in exchange for information on one of the many relic weapons wielded by powerful users of the relevant job. The Warrior of Light, as expected by now when searching for adventure, speaks with Nedric Ironheart in Vesper Bay, who divulges information of the keep and directs us towards Maxine, a wood whaler standing guard outside the keep. She tells us more of the cult lurking within, and warns us that their attempts to summon voidsent would seem more successful than not, before bidding us enter to tackle the fiends lurking within. The party enters the dungeon and proceeds up the stairs into the courtyard of the keep. We immediately encounter some of the cultists experimenting within, and they begin attempting to call forth a voidsent to attack the party. Heading over the first drawbridge into a sheltered section of the keep, the party defeats the hypocrites that have made the keep their home, and also encounter patrolling Dullahans haunting the corridors all throughout. The party re-enters the open forecourt, and again encounters more groups of the cultists, who again attempt a summoning ritual, and approach the main entrance to the keep, where another group of cultists are maintaining a barrier, preventing further entry until dealt with. Within the gear hall, another cultist awaits, the Lunatic Priest. They throw several black magics at the party, and when injured, attempt their own, more powerful ritual of summoning. This summon is unavoidable, and causes a large mind flayer to appear, known as the Psyche Flayer. Once the priest falls, the Psyche Flayer begins reanimating the golems strewn around the room, the small stone marionette first, then the larger marble marionette, and finally the enormous megalith marionette towards the back of the room. This huge golem uses its Planecracker ability, covering an enormous amount of the room with quaking floors and tremors. The huge golem cannot be damaged, so the party must focus their efforts on the Psyche Flayer, who will resummon the smaller golems if not defeated quickly. Upon defeat, an ethereal flow materializes in the center of the room, allowing the party to continue. The flow carries the party onto the balcony near the top of the same room, and we proceed through the opposite door. Here, several gargoyle-like statues loom ominously over the corridor, and when approached, two of the statues come to life as Vodariga's sleepers, Voidsent lying in wait for unsuspecting victims venturing forth into the keep. As we proceed further from here, many more Voidsent make an appearance, including more of the statue feigning Vodariga sleepers in the next rooms. We carry on through the rooms until we see a large door in the distance, and defeating the attacking Voidsent along with the patrolling Dullahans, we make our way into the bloody transept, where a large, presumably trapped Voidsent awaits, known as the Demon Wall. During this fight, the Demon Wall spawns void puddles around the arena, damaging and slowing anyone stood in them. Every so often, he also pushes the party back, potentially pushing them into the lethal pit on either side of the arena. The party must also be hasty here, as the wall approaches the party with every repel, eventually forcing them into a deadly poisonous puddle, constantly damaging them until they perish. Upon defeat, the Demon Wall slumps where it stands, and the party can proceed through the new ethereal flow towards the rear of the room. This final section is thick with Voidsent, presumably trapped here since their sealing by the Amdapor long ago. The Succubi here throw fireballs at party members, and there are many Void Soul Carriers all the way through. The party defeats a final set of Dullahans, and proceeds through the final large door to the last room of the keep, the Presence Chamber. A large Voidsent, Ananta descends from the ceiling and attacks the party. During this fight, the Voidsent uses its Fearful Gaze ability, the Look, which damages any standing in front of it, as well as using its deadly Rotten Breath to inflict enormous damage and disease upon any in front also. This Voidsent also has an extremely dangerous ability known as Imminent Catastrophe, which will devastate any party members in the room. To avoid it, the party must hide behind one of the nearby gargoyles, shielding them from the blast. After each of these attacks, one of the statues reverts into its Voidsent equivalent, reducing the number of safe locations for the party. Ananta can also generate dark orbs upon a party member, which after placement explode in an enormous radius around themselves, again damaging any unlucky enough to be caught within its range. Upon defeat, the Voidsent screeches and collapses, vanishing back to the ether once more. And that's the end of the story and lore for Amdapor Keep. Another ancient civilization teeming with the magics of ages past, reduced to a host of Voidsent and feverish cultists, aiming to resurrect their so-called lord once more. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy XIV lore, and I'll see you next time for Pharos Sirius.